Welcome back to my Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm videodiary. I shall see what's going on at our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be, I don't really know what we're going to be talking about, as per usual, so we're sort of just going to flounder about a little bit until we find some conversational foothold for us to, well, I was going to say latch onto. You don't really latch onto a foothold, I suppose you step onto it. Well, I mean, unless you're one of those climbers who have, like, those like climbing shoes or whatever, and you can sort of latch onto it. I'm not very, good at climbing, if you can tell, so I'm not very well experienced in what sort of like, I can't really build up this analogy any further because that's basically as far as my knowledge sort of goes. But anyway, hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 3:32 PM on Tuesday, July 26, 2022. What should I talk about? What have I been up to today? I mean, a lot of stuff I've been up to is not very interesting. I edited like an quite a long audio interview for one of my friends. He's doing like some linguistic stuff. It was basically this interview, and I basically had to remove an interviewer. Well, I didn't have to, He was originally like, I don't, that's way too much work. You don't need to, don't do that. And I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. So I did it. Me and my stubborn helpingness. Well, I mean, stubborn helpingness. Well, okay, yeah, it kind of is, let's be honest. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot on Audacity about sort of thing. It's funny, because he initially, no, he's not going to watch it, so he'll be fine. And I'm like, probably. I know, I'm not insulting or anything, but he initially messaged me, and then he was just like, yo, dear, are you, like, any good at, like, audio engineering? Well, it wasn't... Let me see how I phrase it, but it was something like along the lines of audio engineering stuff, like how good are you about things. I was like, oh god, no, I don't really know exactly what he wants me to do, maybe it's going to be incredibly complicated or something, audio tech. So I was like, does he want me to like troubleshoot some like an audio mixer or something? And then I also thought, that doesn't really make much sense. I don't know why he'd have an audio mixer. Also, he's on holiday right now, so I don't know how that works. And turns out he just wanted me to extract one of the left channel from a stereo audio file, and I was like, oh, it's easy. Simplistic. I was way overestimating how hard I thought, how much work I thought you wanted me to do, and then, it turns out that, like, he's basically sort of analysing it, and he needed all the interviewers stuff removed from the video, not video clip, but audio clip of the interview with this guy. Sound like quite an affable guy, and, I did that. I did it while watching a live stream of one of my catcher games, amusingly. If you don't know, the Idolmaster series is going through one of its anniversary. I can't even remember what anniversary. Isn't it like 17th or something? Is that right? That doesn't make sense. Maybe it's 10th. A decade of the Idolmaster series? That sounds plausible. And I'm not sure if that's exactly right. Anyway, so it was a big celebration with our anime series, I suppose. No, maybe Japanese franchise is perhaps a better word, and I was just watching it at the same time when I was just cutting out all of the interviewers' words and that sort of thing. I was just doing it. I mean, I've used Audacity a surprising amount, like more than perhaps one might expect me to do in the first place. I've like, as I said, we sort of like birthday things that I do with my friends, a lot of them have incorporated like audio in the past, so I had to do a lot of things like Audacity, or actually most of them was in Ableton Live, because a lot of them were music and that sort of thing. So I've got a decent amount of experience editing audio clips and that sort of thing. And luckily interviews are quite formulaic, I was saying, so it's quite easy to edit out. But I don't know, like yeah, this is a bit of work. It's not very interesting, or Audacity, I suppose, in first place. So, let's try and springboard off of this into a different conversation. What about, I don't know, like playing around with audio clips? It's something we used to do in music class back in school. Here we go, another nostalgic trip. Nostalgia, like childhood story from Dear Darling here. It is my trademark, after all. Yes, back in music class, like, we used to have like two types of music classes, and we'd alternate between which one each half term or something. Half term being, I think it's about 4 weeks or 8 weeks. I forget exactly. No, it must be 4 weeks. 8 weeks is too long. Was it? Maybe not. I'm not sure. Yeah, where one of the half terms we'd be in the piano room, where we'd be paired up. Mostly it was like by register order, and then you can choose your partners later on, but we'd pair up, and then the other half term we'd be in the computer room, where we'd be like messing around with computer musical software. And I gotta say, I like using musical software a lot more than just using the digital piano, mainly because you can do a lot more interesting things, I think, with musical software. And honestly, I think I play around with it a little bit more if I had it permanently. I suppose. We used to use a software called Reason, which, you know, a lot of the softwares like have a sort of overlap. You know, once you got experience in one of them, you have experience in quite a few of them, to be honest. So, you know, like with MIDI files and like with audio controllers and that sort of thing. I'm not really an expert. It's, you know, I'll be honest. I just know how to make a song in either of them. With all the medical knowledge I've accrued over the years, and yeah, so we use Reason in school. I use Ableton Live now, kind of. With that sort of, well, I say I use, and you know, I've used Ableton Live now, I suppose, in recent years, but we used Reason back in the day. And I remember there's quite a few things that we did. We also used Sibelius, actually, now I think about it, to actually like compose pieces and that sort of thing. But there were quite a few things we did in music class in Reason where we had to like make musical compositions or things like that. And one of them, there's actually quite a few I remember, to be honest, off the top of my head. But one of them, I can't remember what we were messing around with. We were messing around with some certain setting in Reason, or maybe it was an external program. All I remember it looking like, it was like a grid of squares, and it's kind of like a soundboard, I suppose. You know, there's like musical instrument grids which people have where each like button plays a sound, and they like press it in time to make like music. I don't know what they're called. Are they called musical boards? They're really cool. I actually kind of want one myself, but I don't know what I do with it because it takes time to like learn how to properly use it, I think. Musical, what are they called? Oh, launch pads. Launch pad? Yeah, launch pads. It kind of looked like that, but like digitally. And what we were meant to do is we were meant to... I can't remember where we got these music clips from. I think maybe we chose a song or something, or maybe we had a song which we were meant to like sort of remix by taking like small clips from it and putting them together. I don't remember what I did. And it was amusing. It was the same friend who I did this audio editing for. I was working with him and we were like doing stuff, I don't know. And then there was a pair next to me. I'm still friends with one of them today. She's pretty cool, and I don't remember how we did it, but they somehow remixed something. I think it was actually maybe we made our own audio clips and then we remixed it, but they somehow made something. I can't remember what it originally started out, but they somehow remixed it to basically make it an absolute sick beat, which went more mushroom, more mushroom, more mushroom, more mushroom. I mean, obviously they didn't actually say mushroom, because I don't think I'm pretty sure they didn't start with a clip saying just mushroom or something, but you know, just due to like, you know, human beings trying to find patterns and things and that sort of thing, and trying to interpret language to make it actually make sense, you kind of hear the words mushroom in it, and it's sort of just like, what? That might sound like a very uninteresting sort of story, but you know, it's very solid in my memory for really no apparent reason, and it was very entertaining, I must say. But we did a lot of other things, or like musical remixing. I remember one of them is one of the lessons we had. I must say, I've talked about this in music before, but music class must be the subject which has the widest range of variety of skills, at least, you know, in early years when it comes to high school teaching, because you know, like kids like me, you know, like there's some other kids in my class who had done like high grades in music. Like I'd done grade 8 piano, I think, by that time, and I was on grade 5 violin. I can't remember, which is grade 8 is the highest grade out of the grading system, and then you got diplomas and stuff above it, which I didn't do diplomas. And then you had people who literally just like only heard music or uninteresting music and had no musical experience, and we're in the same class for some reason, and you know, it's meant to be like fair, and you're meant to like, somehow the music teacher's meant to teach both of us in an instructive way, which just seems utterly impossible. But anyway, that's not me here not criticizing music curriculum, but like sort of just like I'm surprised. Basically, maths and sciences were always set by ability. I feel like other subjects should have been set by ability as well, but I guess that would have made it a very difficult scheduling situation, and probably not enough teachers to allow for that in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I guess the response to that would be you're meant to pair people up with like of similar levels so they can like sort of work together, and then you set them individual tasks. I don't know, but anyway, so we were meant to make a musical mashup, and of course, you know, sort of, I can't remember what musical mashup our teacher showed. Actually, I think it was Axes of Awesome 4 chords, which I had already heard about before, and he showed us that in school, and I was like, oh, I love this song. Oh, I love this, me. And it was great, but we were meant to do a musical mashup, and I was partnered with the same guy, and he was like, he was a big fan of Ellie Goulding back in the day. You know, he told me to listen to Ellie Goulding back in the day, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, I really like, and you know, like the song Lights, I remember, was her popular one at the time. And she really said another later one, like Burn or something, I think, during that time. I don't really recall. Anyway, Lights. If you don't know what Lights goes like, it goes, you got the lights that stop me. It's way higher. You got the lights that stop me down to stone. Something like that. But that's not a song I think we remixed a load of Ellie Goulding songs. Or, I can't even recall off the top of my head, but I remember one of the songs we definitely remixed was Superman, I think. Which I think was by Ellie Goulding, is that right? It might have been a collaboration. Ellie Goulding, Superman. Like, I wasn't super... Oh, it was Tiny Temper Wonder Man featuring Ellie Goulding. That was it. And I think we mixed it with Lights and maybe another Ellie Goulding song. I don't really recall. Anyway, at the time, I was not super, like, well-versed with, like, popular music. Like, I don't really listen to much music in the first place. You might be like, what do you listen to, radio? I used to listen to classical FM. So I'd only listen to the classics like Beethoven and Amadeus and Mozart. Wait, is that right, Amadeus? Yeah. And Beethoven's Wolfgang, right? Or wait, am I getting it confused? Amadeus Mozart. This is certainly something I should know. Oh, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. What was Beethoven's first name? Hold on. I should know this. Oh, Ludwig. Oh, yeah, of course. Ludwig van Beethoven. That was dumb. Anyway, and we made a really nice remix, which I remember the music teacher liked actually quite a lot. Although, I feel like I do remember cheating. I'm not cheating in it a bit, but like, it wasn't actually that great. But, I mean, I guess it was impressive of the music teacher being like, well, you actually put, like, genuine effort into this, because I guess he's kind of used to people, unfortunately, just sort of, like, not really caring much about music, which is a bit of a shame, because I think music's a lot of fun. But I just remember us having, like, the instrumental of, like, oh, maybe we only used Superman, and we just sort of, Wonder Man, and we just remixed it over and over. I don't remember how Wonder Man goes, I'm going to be honest. But that was a lot of good fun, like, sort of music, making our own sort of musical remix. Certainly now, I think I would do probably a better job, just because not because my musical theory is better. Now, actually, my musical theory is probably a little bit worse than it used to be back in the day, because back then, you had to at least pass grade 5 music theory to do grades higher than grade 5 for all instruments, actually, maybe. I don't really recall. But anyway, so I did grade 5 music and I studied for that. I don't really remember it all too well. I was very young when I did it, to be honest, but oh no, Biscuit, I'm sorry. But now at least, I've had more exposure to music and, like mashups and that sort of thing. I think I can make it work a little bit better. Match tempos and match... Well, it doesn't necessarily have to match keys, but, have a nice transition between the key signatures. Maybe even, like, shift them up and down if you want them to work and you've got good timing. Maybe just copy a little bit of pop danthology. If you don't know what pop danthology is, it's fantastic. It was basically back in 2012 or something, maybe those sort of years, where this guy, I guess called Dan, made these mashups of, like, all the popular hits of that year, and it's fantastic, the first few, even. He did a fantastic mashup of, like, having the lyrics on one part, the instrumental of another song, sort of interweaving between it. I don't know if he's done any recently. Let's see. Pop danthology. A World Data. Daniel Kim, 7 years ago. Pop danthology 2010's trailer. What? It's way too hot. I believe... I can't remember where I saw it, but I think on Reddit or something, where if you actually tell Brewster a load of times it's too hot or whatever, so it completely cools down, the next time he makes you a cup of coffee, he asks you if you'd rather have a cold cup of coffee or like a warm rather than a piping hot one or something. I feel like that's vaguely right. Celebrating Pop danthology. So what's this Pop danthology 2010's trailer, which never came out? Oh, it did come out. We the Kims. How's this work? Is this in the car? I don't know. Apparently it's got a new YouTube channel. I guess it's a family YouTube channel now. Fair enough. Who am I to judge him in his life? He can do what he wants, to be honest. Yeah, anyway, so what other sort of musical things do we do? I must have talked about this stuff before, like, bringing back to Ellie Goulding. Well, one of the tasks we had to do is we had to work in groups of, like, 3 or 4, and everyone had to make a song, like, compose a song. And obviously composing a song is pretty difficult, and people don't really know what they're doing, to be perfectly honest. But we had to compose and perform a song, or not perform it live, it was sort of like mix it together, I think, of a thing. I forgot what I was going to say. And we all worked together in groups, but everyone's got different musical ability. I remember, I guess we'll talk about other classmates first and what they did. I remember one of my, one group of classmates, I'm not going to, I was going to be like, how would I describe them? You don't need to know what they were like. Hopefully they were all doing well or something. I make it sound like I hate them or something. I don't hate them, slightest. I like to make this clear. I don't hate anyone who was back in my class or whatever. I just thought I wanted to give it a bit of like setting, but you know, now I realise it's a little bit pointless, and perhaps I should, you know, not do that. Anyway, they just did a parody of, I don't even know what song, but their song was called like Daniel the Goat or something. He was like, I had a goat, he was so good to me, and apparently it was just literally just, I can't remember, maybe it was some Coldplay song or something, and they just replaced all the lyrics with it, which is fair enough because I think it's ambitious enough. I don't know if any of them in their group even had musical experience. It's pretty difficult to, you know, write a song with literally no musical experience in the first place. It's pretty out there. And the teacher did sort of recommend basically like choosing an artist or choosing some songs to sort of like get inspiration and base it off from, because like what else could you do otherwise? You'd be kind of doomed. And anyway, their song was like kind of fine, despite the fact, you might be like, oh, it's a bit of plagiarism. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I guess they were trying to pass it off of their own, but, you know, one random homework assessment in the middle of just, like, it wasn't even music GCSE, this is pre-GCSE, so we were, like, year 8 or something, you know. I think you can kind of let it slide. There was another group, I can't remember what their song was. It was something about aliens, and it was very, like, weird, is all I remember, and, like, I'm not sure if high octane's quite the right word, but it was very strange, is all I remember. It was something about aliens. I think I vaguely remember it being kind of like a dance track, or like something you might like hear in a club, which is a bit strange. It was bizarre. I don't know what to say, but it was very entertaining at the very least. I don't remember anyone else's songs, and I'm trying to think through any other people. I don't really remember anyone else having well, obviously other people had songs, but I don't remember it being played. But anyway, our group, it was me and, you know, my friend who liked Ellie Goulding. I don't know what he thinks about Ellie Goulding now, to be honest. Maybe I should ask him. And two of my other friends, we you know, it was just like back in those days, it was always us four as a group. Whenever it was like, oh, working groups. Working groups of four, it was always us four working pairs. It was always us four split into those two pairs. Just because we were, you know, very good friends. And, you know, I remember us creating the song, and of course my Ellie Goulding friend was like, we should do it based off Ellie Goulding, and I was like, sure, I don't really care. I'm just going to sort of listen to Ellie Goulding's song, and then we'll just sort of see where we go from there. And I remember I just like listening to Lights, and then basically making like, I made a backing track sort of based off of Ellie Goulding's Lights, like I can't remember how it goes. But like the synthesizer she's got at the beginning, I remember something kind of similar to that. And I remember when we actually like played our song, he was like, I actually quite like that instrumental backing or whatever. I remember we all had different parts. So I was doing basically most of the music part, because, you know, I was the one with the most musical experience, I think, at the time. And my friend who liked Ellie Goulding, he was meant to be writing lyrics, I remember, and he was going to sing it because he was the best singer of all of us. And I was working with one of my other friends, and we were basically like writing out the melody. And I remember how it went. It was basically, I just arbitrarily decided a key, I think I just took the key from Ellie Goulding's Lights, whatever the key that was in, I don't really remember. And then I just basically started playing random melodies, and then I would just be like, okay, do you think the next thing should go like this or go like this? And then he just chose one, and that's basically exactly how we wrote the entire melody. And then I remember we were complaining with the other pair, you know, being like, how have you not written any lyrics yet or anything? Like, we spent this entire, you know, hour of this lesson, we wrote the entire melody and the backing. You haven't done the lyrics. And he was like, oh, you know, but it's because the melody wasn't finished, it's hard to write the lyrics without melody, which is a fair point, actually, you know, now that I've done a bit of songwriting. You might be like, what comes first, the melody or the lyrics? And the answer is they both come, you know, like, they sort of interweave, you know. You often, you know, maybe you start with like, oh, this is like a cool melody, and you like fit lyrics to that, or you'd be like, oh, you know, I like this sort of like rhythm I got with his lyrics, now let's figure out some tune to go around it. It's sort of like they sort of like intertwine and work together. But, you know, but us naively back in the day, we don't really know how to write a song, unsurprisingly. So I think it was a bit of an ambitious project to even compose a song in the first place. Anyway, all I remember is I don't know, but like we had like 6 weeks or something to do it, I think. And then like in 6 weeks, like me and that friend, we had done like all our parts. We'd done like all the instrumentals and that sort of thing. We'd done the melody, whatever. We done like the drums. Was it good? I don't know, probably not. I don't have access to it anymore, which is a bit of a shame. That one I definitely don't have access to, because that one I didn't even save on my USB. It would have been saved on my school account. Oh, I wish I downloaded it. That'd be so cool to look back on nostalgically. And I remember the only thing we had left was for our friend Eddie Goldingren. By the way, he's a great guy. Like, don't judge him from or anything like this. It's just a funny story. We were like 12, okay, and it was just like we're just waiting on him to write lyrics and also sing the song. And he was like, "Oh, that's fine. I'll do it before the end of last lesson." And then before our next lesson, which would be the lesson where we show things, and we'll just edit it on top. And I was like, "Sick. Okay, fine." And then I remember, you know, we came into the lesson and he had not finished writing the lyrics, nor had he finished. Nor had he actually recorded anything, so we're just like, oh no, what are we going to do? Turns out the teacher foresaw this all happening and was like, oh, today's a final lesson. I've you know, brought some microphones in for you to like record yourself, you know, singing like vocals and that sort of thing, or like if you brought in instruments you can record and put it in. And it was like, okay, so we sort of very haphazardly did that, and we very, very quickly wrote lyrics, I remember, which were basically just, we took like Ellie Goulding's structure, I think, for Lights Again, and we just like changed it. I can't remember what it was even about, to be perfectly honest, and put it on top. And I remember just being so like, I hated our creation afterwards. Like we made it and I was like, this is the worst thing ever. And you know, probably due to sort of my rampant perfectionism, you know, listening to it, I was like, this doesn't sound anything like the pop songs that you hear in the charts nowadays. This is the worst thing ever. When really looking back on it, it was probably pretty damn good for what just ended up being like 4 12-year-olds or whatever working on a random song with not really much direction or knowledge. It probably was pretty decent. So I remember he like played it in front of class, and I just sort of sat there with my fingers in my ears because I didn't want to listen to it, which is very amusing. I mean, he was a reasonably nice music teacher. Probably quite exasperated by the fact that no one took music seriously enough to actually pay attention in the class, which I do feel quite a lot of sympathy for. First place, I would say, you know, teacher, he's not going to be watching. That would be absurd if he was watching. But you know, I appreciated the classes. I thought they were quite fun. The music classes and graphics, they were probably a bit more of fun lessons, in my honest opinion. But that's maybe because I could interface to them with them on some sort of level at least. But anyway, let's customize and create some things probably. What was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to say. Well, he's very nice. He was like, oh yeah, he actually quite liked it. And then, you know, that was it. You know, we just everyone played through some songs, and it was just like, what? People made music or didn't make music, I don't really remember. Anyway, but basically the long and short of it, music class was quite a wild time, I might say. Oh, I just had another thought about music class. There's this thing in musical class, which, looking back at it, must have been quite kind of like not traumatic. Okay, that's perhaps a bit too strong a word. What's like a word which is not as strong as traumatic? Quite cringe-inducing, I suppose, looking back in as a memory or something. But it was around the start of like year 7 or whatever when we first started having new music classes, and it was something along the lines that everyone basically had to perform something. It had to be about 3 minutes long, or 3 to 5 minutes long or something, and everyone, or it didn't even have to be that long necessarily, but people just had to perform things in front of a class, which is absolutely mortifying, I think, for most people, because a lot of people were just like, I haven't had any music experience, and me sitting there being like, oh, I don't know, I guess I played one of my grade 8 pieces, I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? But the teacher was trying to be quite reassuring, being like, it doesn't matter what you play, you know, even like if you've had no musical experience and you learned how to play Happy Birthday on the piano, that would be fantastic. And I remember he recorded every single person, and it really was quite a wild roller coaster, and it was really stressful, you know. It's basically sort of just like, it's kind of like auditions. This is like sort of everyone's first audition, well, not everyone's, but a lot of people's first auditions. Essentially, that's what it was like. We were all sat down in like a grid of like 30 students or something, just like in tech shows, we just like standing there watching in front of the classroom, and as we each go up like in alphabetical order or whatever to perform our songs or whatever, you know, like someone starts off, like first guy just like sings, I can't remember what song. I feel like it was like a Dizzy Rascal, wasn't it? I think it was Bonkers. I don't think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm free, or that sort of thing. I mean, I can't remember what the next person sang or like what anyone else sang. When, you know, some people go up, they've been learning an instrument. They're like grade 1, they'll play something very simple or whatever, and it'll be like clap 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 and sit down. And then the part I remember, obviously, as I said, I wasn't quite grade 8 piano at this time. I was learning to do grade 8 piano. Not recently, like a few months ago, finished my grade 7, passed my grade 7 piano examination, and I remember. It was a thing. It was two before me. It was a guy. He was like the drama kid of a theatre kid in our class. He like loved to like sort of perform like drama. He loved musicals. He liked to sing, that sort of thing. And he did a really like nice cover of what was it? Mr. Cellophane from, I don't even know what movie it's from. Chicago. Is it from Chicago? I want to look this up while I'm doing these exercises, I suppose. The one that goes, Mr. Cellophane should have been my name, cause Mr. Cellophane. It is Chicago, my word. I haven't seen Chicago, so I don't actually know. But anyway, he sang that, and it was really dramatic. He actually performed it kind of like, you know, he like walks across like the stage a little bit, doing like these sort of jazz hand movements about something. It was actually very, very good. He had a good voice, I think, especially he was like 11 or 12 or something. I don't even remember. It must have been 11 at the time now I think about it, because for whatever reason I remember his birthday still. I haven't talked to him in like a decade, I think, but still. People performed Mr. Cellophane, and people watching, we were just like, wow, it's like really good. And you know, you got everyone. You know, of course, everyone got applause after their performance, but you know, the people who did like really good performances or whatever just went, whoa. So you know, the crowd goes wild for a pretty good performance. And then I remember it was my friend who went next. He was like he was in that group of 4 as well. You know, one of a group of 4, not the Ellie Goulding fan. The other person who I was working with on writing a melody for our song for, and he was like grade 1 violin or something, and he played like his grade 1 piece, and I remember it was like he was a little bit stressed out by that sort of thing, and he like did a bit of a false start, I think, while playing it, or he played he played it a bit wrong or that sort of thing. But I think a lot of people don't really notice if you play it wrong. You know, me with my musically trained ear, I suppose, to a certain extent, I'm just like, oh yeah, that was definitely like flat or sharp or like that didn't sound right. But I mean, music inherently, like, I feel like a lot of human beings have a sort of, like, inherent understanding of music, so you can hear when something doesn't sound quite right. Certainly, but, you know, he did a very good effort of that sort of thing, and people were just like, oh, yeah, clap, clap, clap. And then I was next, because I'm alphabetically after him, and then I played my grade 7 piece, and if you want to go look it up, it was called Alligator Crawl. I still remember how it goes. Kind of goes. So it's a very sort of like jazzy, swingy, upbeat song. It's very. I chose it because it's very performative. Because you know, and I'm certain at that sort of age, people have a very sort of like negative view of classical music. Oh, it's boring. It's not interesting. Or that sort of thing. And like, you know, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to choose this upbeat one. It was a really fun one, and it's honestly my favourite piano piece I think I learned for any of my grades, that sort of thing, which is probably a testament to why I still kind of remember it to this day. And I remember I played it. I remember because at that time especially, I was not performative. Nowadays I'm certainly a lot more performative. I like to think I don't mind like being in front of like a camera, being in front of people, being in front of a stage, that sort of thing, as long as I kind of know what I'm doing. I can't say like, I don't know, I can't say I'm like completely fearless. Like I think I would be kind of nervous if you were just like, hey, do stand-up comedy, you've got 5 minutes until you go on stage, get ready to go. I'd be like, what on earth are you talking about? You know, that would certainly freak me out. But if it was like, you got stand-up comedy, I'll give you a week to prepare, or that sort of thing, I'd be like, okay, that's kind of nerve-wracking, but at least I've got time to prepare something. So I'll do my best that way. But yeah, I remember before that I was like very sheepish about that sort of thing, and then I finished, and I still remember very clearly in my head, sort of turning around, just like looking at my teacher, and he was just like he sort of like nodding with a good like smirky smile on his face, being like, yeah, that was pretty good. And he starts clapping, and like turn around to the class, and everyone just goes, wow. I mean, it might be exaggerated in my head. Perhaps you know, quite sort of like to feed my own ego, I was just like, oh, I'll replay it I'll save it as a memory as the crowd going absolutely wild. But I remember I really enjoyed it, and then people like actually going up to me after class being like, that was a really like fun piece you played, or that was really awesome what you played. And I remember telling my friend afterwards, I was like, that must, you know, because I'm not even exaggerating, people were crying over like the performances, and like I was stressed and that sort of thing. So it's really stressing inducing, being like, you have to perform something which you have literally no experience with. So there's a lot of people who are like, I've never played anything before, and I'm like, people are here playing like grade 8, grade 7 like piano pieces or whatever, and like doing these fantastic performances, and I'm going to go up and really badly play like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star because that's all I've learned or that's all I know. And you know, I can't help but feel like there must be a better way. It was a thing which is meant to allow people to sort of like show off and be like, show what we learned, be proud of ourselves, but I feel like it just ended up being really stress inducing for most people. Which really is quite tragic to talk about, but hopefully, you know, that was like more than a decade ago. Yeah, more than a decade ago, but hopefully people look back on it and be like, oh, it was quite funny, or, you know, amusing in the end. But I remember talking to my friend being like, that must have been like a pretty tragic experience, basically, you know, who's the person before you? Oh, you know, just like the best theatre person in our class at the moment, and that sort of thing, you know, who's done a lot of drama, done a lot of music, you know, performing a hit musical song, which he's practiced, and then you with your grade 1 like violin piece, and then followed up by a grade 8 pianist of that sort of thing, playing a really uplifting and jazzy sort of like song. I don't know if it's jazz, maybe it was swing. I can't really remember the distinction between jazz and swing all that well, but anyway. And he was like, yeah, that kind of sucked. But it's strange, yeah. People were really stressed out by the entire thing, understandably so. I wonder if I should ask if any of my friends remember it. I'm not sure if they will, to be perfectly honest, but yeah, I don't know, music class. It's, again, the criticism comes up again, but there's such a range and variety in abilities, it makes it very difficult, I think, to properly get any lessons done throughout that entire thing. So I don't really know what you do if you're a music teacher, I suppose, in that situation. But anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here, so hope you like my stories. If you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me, Dear Darling, Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.